And we are live, back in action. Just a few minutes ago, I got inspired to do a Periscope. And the title of the Periscope was Infinite Courage. And I only have 5% battery left. But my phone died right as I was getting into the content. So it's charging now. So I said, let me not allow that to stop me from sharing what I have in me in this moment. So now we're live on Google Hangouts. And thank you all for watching. I was walking with an Uber driver today, sharing a personal story. It's crazy how sometimes you can open up to strangers more than you open up to your own friends and family. And I talked to him about, he asked me what are some of the things that I had learned, some of the things that I had figured out. And most of the things that I've learned did not come from the many successes that I've had. They've come from the setbacks. And one of those major setbacks was running for political, investing the time and energy, learning the issues, asking questions, meeting new people, studying things that were exciting to me, and then coming 3 signatures short of actually making it on the ballot. Wow. And I was telling him I didn't know if I had the same type of courage that I did 2 years ago. I just didn't know if I would be able to muster up my courage again. And thank you so much for joining me in this moment as I just speak my truth. The kid looked at me, this 21-year-old Uber driver, and he said, "You have as much courage as you think you have. As a matter of fact, courage is infinite." Wow. In that moment, I was so inspired. I wondered why he wasn't a motivational speaker. And I want to talk to you a little bit about infinite courage. According to Robert Greene Ingersoll, he said, "The greatest test of courage on earth is the ability to have defeat without losing your heart, to fail without losing your heart." And if I'm honest with myself, I know I felt down, but until that little 21-year-old Uber driver shared to me that courage is infinite, I thought I lost my heart. His words put my heart back in my passion. And I want you to realize that the courage that you once had when you were younger, the courage that you once had when you were stronger, the courage that you once had when you were healthier, guess what? There's no shortage of courage. Courage is infinite. And if you want to tap into the infinite supply of courage, you have to exercise it every day. It's not okay to be courageous in your past and not to take it with you in your future. Courage is a muscle that you must build and nurture and strengthen every day. And so I want you to begin to think about and ask yourself, if I had an infinite supply of courage, what would I do with my life? If I had an infinite supply of courage, what would I do with my business? If I had an infinite supply of courage, what would I do with my family? Let me tell you something. In order to start something new in this fast paced, rapid moving society, you might not have all the capital, but you better have an infinite supply of courage. You better have the ability to deal with rejection without losing your heart. You better have the ability to face the challenges of life head on and say, not necessarily out loud, but within your soul, that my supply of courage is unlimited. And if your courage is unlimited, then your capital will be unlimited. If your courage is unlimited, your ability to collaborate with your heroes will be unlimited. And that's something that I'm focusing on this week, tapping into to the end of courage that was given to me as a little kid that I sometimes question as a grown up. Do you have courage? Do you have enough courage to make this year and next year the best years of your life? Do you have enough courage not to settle in a life that you know is beneath you? Well, I believe that there's an infinite supply of courage within you. And that's the message that I wanted to share on Periscope. And even though my phone died, my heart was still energized. So thank you so much. Sometimes it's so hard to have courage when you compare yourself to others. I think that's the number one reason why people stop being courageous. They look at people who've accomplished much more than they have, who have a lot more status than they do, who've done things that they can't imagine. And somehow those don't seem like examples to them in terms of what's possible. It looks like to them that they're farther away from their goal every time that they don't compare and meet those same benchmarks that other people have. And this little 21-year-old Uber driver, actually, he was taller than me. But this young kid, he looked at me and said, there's an infinite supply of courage. And he didn't know it. But that's the message that I needed to hear today. I want you to know that you probably have big dreams if you're tuned into me. You probably have people that believe in you if you're tuned in. But don't you ever think that you can run out of courage. The greatest test of courage on earth is the ability to have challenges and setbacks and failure after failure and things not work out and accidents and surprises happen to you without losing your heart. When I became a dad 2 years ago, I learned that when a baby is formed, it doesn't start with the toes or the eyes or the legs or the knees or anything like that. Not even the brain comes first. They determine whether or not a baby is really healthy in its infancy stage because the heartbeat is formed first in the womb. And the heartbeat, the BPMs of the baby's heart can let the physicians know whether or not that baby is healthy. And I want you to know that if you have a heartbeat, you have an infinite supply of courage. If you have a heartbeat, don't allow the setbacks of life to take your heart away, because that's when great men and women become cowards. My name is John Leslie Brown, and I'm excited about accessing and unleashing an infinite supply of courage. And so maybe your goal isn't to get on the ballot and to renew a political environment that will give people hope instead of making them feel hopeless. Maybe your passion isn't to use your voice to become a corporate motivator to help people reach their quarterly goals. Maybe you don't have any kids and you're not focused on being the best parent and the best dad there is. But whatever you're doing, whether it's becoming a real estate mogul, whether it's launching a new venture that can have multiple income streams to give your family the best holiday season they can imagine, or whether it's just taking time for yourself to carve out the necessary habits to have inner peace during the midst of all your busyness, I want you to know that in order to achieve that, you're going to have an infinite supply of courage. And no matter what you go through, never let your courage tank. Drop to E. Fill it up. Fill up your courage. Fill up your tank, because there's an infinite supply of talents and gifts within you. There's so many things that I'm doing today that I could not imagine I'd be doing as a child. And there are so many things that in my heart, I might not be able to articulate them, but I know that I want to be brave. I want to be courageous enough not to back down from a challenge. So whatever you're going through, whatever you feel that you can do that can test your courage. It's not enough just to say I'm courageous. Sometimes you got to test your courage and do things that are outside of your comfort zone, which Brian Tracy calls your danger zone. Whatever you need to do to prove to yourself that your courage is infinite, no matter what people say about you, and no matter what your social media stats look like, no matter how many likes you get on your social media pages, if you have an infinite supply of courage to come back again and again and again, guess what? Mm, you've got heart, and their heart is all you need to be fully alive. This is John Leslie Brown. Thank you for tuning in to this live stream, this Google Hangout, because I had the courage to find another way after my phone died. And I want you to know that there's greatness within you, but only those that get to experience the greatness and bring it out of themselves are those that have an infinite supply of courage. Thank you.